It's time to get casually uncomfortable. News Edition with your host, Chuck Jerome. Viewer discretion is advised. Ooh, it's Wednesday. It's time for some of that news, some of that shit that's going on in the States. Not so united. We're just, dude, each state is just doing whatever the fuck they want. And it's being allowed. And it's being wild. And it's just life right now. So buckle in, folks, because shit ain't going to get any easier. And you just got to be ready for anything. So this first article, I said, you know what? Everybody's got to poop. And this article talks about, what is a good time to poop? How many bowel movements should you have? And hey, listen, Chuck talks about it all. This is life. If you don't want to hear about it, then, I don't know. That's all I can say. But everybody's doing it. It's at some point, somebody's got to talk about it. But what they're saying is, there's a broad range. And they're saying that range is 3 times a day to 3 times a week. And that's how broad it can be. That's wild. That's all I'm saying. What they're saying is the sweet spot is about 1 to 2 solid doo-doos a day. And it all depends on how you're eating, what you're eating, when you go to sleep, when you get up. All this shit ties together. Your circadian rhythm helps your body go, hey, I got to get this demon out of me. So a lot of people, when you get up in the morning, you move around a little bit, and then your body's like, oh, it's time to buckle in for the day. And a lot of things can really change when you hit the bathroom. Your sleep, your diet, your travel, stress, all that shit affects your body. Everything that happens to you and that you do affects your body, even if you're like, oh, that don't bother me. It affects your body. So stop lying to yourself. But yeah, 1 to 2 good bowel movements a day is optimal. And the last thing that I'm going to say about this is they said, listen, sit on the toilet no more than 5 to 10 minutes. There's no reason for anybody to be sitting on the shitter for 20, 30, 45 minutes. See, that's where the phones come into play, and they're going to fuck you up. You've ever been on the toilet so long, when you get off of it, your leg is asleep? That ain't good. Prolonged leg numbness is going to fuck you up in the long run. So, shit and get off the pot. So this article I called Big Money. I had really mixed views about this because this man in Florida found a fanny pack with $30,000 in it in a Wawa bathroom. You know what he did? He turned it in. He got a hold of the police and he said, hey, this ain't my money, but it seems a little funny. And he returned the money. And the money did actually make it back to the owner, who sold some Pokemon cards And he was going to use that money for a medical procedure for his sister. So here's my view on that. You got $30,000 fucking dollars in cash and you lose it. Hey, the universe didn't really want you to have it, did it? You know, you're a philanthropist at this point. You just help somebody out. I believe in karma and all kinds of shit like that. I believe in it all. So I wouldn't try to do anything crazy because I know if I did, it would come back on me tenfold and my life would just be fucked. But there's people out there that would just say fuck it. And then I think to myself, maybe I would take, a couple hundred. Hey, look, you were fucking messing up. You lost the money. That's not my fault. But I'll be nice enough to get most of it back to you. I'm taking about $500 for myself. Good Samaritan fee. Because you could lose $500 out of that, or you could not have fucking any of it. And that's where I had conflicted views. And then, this guy would have gone to the news outlets and shit like that, and then he'd have been like, yeah, the money was for my sister's medical procedure. Then you'd have felt like a piece of shit. But when I was reading the article, it did say a lot of people, when it's large sums of money like that, they return it. Yeah. Because they know someone is looking for, you lose maybe $500 in your wallet, it's probably gone. But you got, 30,000. Someone's probably looking around like, is this a game show where they're going to test your integrity? And then fucking John Quinones comes out the back. He's like, hey, listen, this was all a test to see how you would do. And if you don't know who John Quinones is, there was a show. Shit, what was it called? I can't think of the name of it. But it would test people's integrity and their kindness by having actors go into restaurants and stores and shit like that. And let's say, okay, I remember one where it was a father, a daughter, and she was bringing her boyfriend to meet the father. Now, the mother may have been there, but I don't remember. So let's just say mother, father, daughter brings her boyfriend, who is black. Everybody else is white. And they're all actors. And the father, his job was to be a complete fucking dick to this boyfriend and say some shady, off-center, pseudo-racist remarks about him being with his daughter. And the plan was that the father was loud enough that someone at another table would hear it and potentially come over and be like, hey, dude, why are you being such a dick to this guy? And then if anybody did that, John Quinones would pop out the back of the store and be like, hey, we're doing a social experiment. So listen, why did you come over and decide to say something? And then they do a little interview, and then the person that came over would find out that, hey, everybody at the table was an actor, and they just wanted to see how people would react. Bring that shit back. I'm going to talk about this probably a little more on Monday, but bring that shit back. Seriously. And that's why people probably are like, yeah, or they're like, oh, this money's here. They're playing a punked prank. And then if the camera's on, I'm going to jail. So I'm just going to turn it in. So, but yeah, if you're going to be that irresponsible with that amount of money, then that's your fault. That's all on you. Whatever happens. Sorry, that's all on you. You should have clipped the fucking fanny pack around your waist and gone on about your day. So, folks, they're saying that you do not need 8 hours of sleep. Here's another bodily function that they're saying has a sweet spot. Now they're saying that the sweet spot for healthy sleep is between 6.4 and 7.8 hours of sleep a night. And I don't know why they put it like that, but 6.4 hours of sleep is 6 hours and 24 minutes, and 7.8 hours of sleep is 7 hours and 48 minutes. That is the sweet spot that they're saying right now. And then it says getting under 6 hours of sleep is linked to broad health issues, including cardiovascular disease and poor immune response. And then getting over 8 hours of sleep is associated with chemical imbalances in the brain, including depression and ADHD. So try and stick to the sweet spot. Get 6 to 7 hours. Try not to go over because it's unnecessary. You know those times that you've gotten like 10, 12 hours of sleep because you were just dog ass tired, and then you woke up, and then guess what? You were still fucking tired. That's what they're saying. You're fucking yourself if you do too little or too much. Crazy, right? The body is wild. It is a wild fucking contraption. So get that right amount of sleep. Folks, we are seriously in some sort of comic book simulation without the superpowers. And I say that because our president is just doing the fucking most. Have you heard about the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool? If you haven't, what's going on is Uncle Donnie said, hey, you know what? We need to make this great again. And how are we going to do that? We're going to drain the reflecting pool, change the color to an American flag blue, then we're going to coat the whole thing this color. And then we're going to fill it back up, and then it is going to shine bright like a diamond. Well, Uncle Donnie went ahead and pulled out $14 million of our money that we could be using for something else. And he got all this work done on the reflecting pool. And then less than fucking 2 weeks into it, the pool is ripping apart because they rushed and probably used inferior products to do this. And I think on Looney Tunes, at one point, there was a Porky Pig, like an evil version of Porky Pig that had a mustache, a little nasty pencil-thin mustache. And the guy that Uncle Donnie said, hey, I'm going to use your expertise to fix up this pool. That's what this guy looks like. He looks like a fucking shyster. And that's exactly what he did. He shystered his way through this project, wasted the money. And then I get on, the news, social media, all types of stuff, and I see Trump making claims that, hey, there were vandals with sharp objects and box cutters that cut a 300-foot slit in the pool, which made it, crack and crumble and bubble to the top. And in this same interview, Trump was saying, hey, listen, we have updated this. And I'm not saying that you should do this, but you could cut the lining of the pool and it wouldn't mess up or be harmed because it was impenetrable. He just threw out ideas for people to do some wild shit. And now, if you're even seen putting your fucking pinky into the reflecting pool, you are going to jail, bucko. This is where we're at. And again, to be crystal clear, unlike the water, this cost over $14 million to renovate from taxpayer money. And if you want to go and you're like, oh, it wasn't really taxpayer money, it was $14 million that could be used for something constructive. And then I saw a video of someone who took a picture of everything going on out there. And they showed the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool. And then they spun the camera around and took like 10 steps over to the National World War II Memorial Pool, which is called the Rainbow Pool. And that water was crystal fucking clear. Unnecessary bullshit going on right now. All of it. Every fucking thing that this man is doing is completely unnecessary. And we could be using these funds to help the fucking country. I don't even want to go through and list what $14 million could help right now. But just know that it is a lot of shit. So, we're fucked, man. Like, we are really, really fucked. Listen, if you're going to be an ass, make sure you're going to do it in a way that someone's not going to retaliate. And you know, if you're going to be an ass, still find a way to be respectful about it. But if you're going to ignore the nice signs that someone creates to keep someone off their property, then whatever happens, happens. And this article is called Illegally Parked because this guy had a farm, he had some land, and he had sheep, and they were going to be grazing in this field. Okay, he put up signs, and it said, look, don't park here because my sheep are going to be grazing here whenever the fuck they feel like it. Well, there was some event going on around there, and people parked in his field. Okay, he had signs up. He had rocks blocking the way to keep people out. So what these people did was they removed the fucking boulders, and then they said, fuck you, buddy. I'm going to do what I want. And he said, okay, do whatever you want. That's cool. And it just kept happening and happening and happening. And one day, he got some shit called, which is shit, cow slurry, which is a thick brown paste that has shit in it. And the cars that were parked in his field on his land, he just plastered the cars with doo-doo. And check out the article because there's pictures of the cars. And he just went through and just chucked this shit on all the cars. Hey, you want to be a piece of shit? I'll show you a piece of shit. And he did. Literally. And cow shit stinks. And he said all those people, he drove by and he saw the cars, and then he went into town and he saw those cars again going through car washes and shit. He's like, oh, I remember that guy. I remember that car. So, don't be an asshole on someone else's property. That's the big thing. Don't be an asshole. Fuck it. It's going to happen. Be a motherfucking asshole. But you do it on someone's property, whatever happens, happens, right? Sorry, not sorry. So, That's the way the cookie crumbles. So last week I talked about the lady who had Lyme disease and she was misdiagnosed and the doctor was like, "Oh, you're okay." And it's just anxiety and bullshit like that. Well, this week, this guy over in the UK, he had 7 years of unnecessary treatments after being wrongly diagnosed with terminal cancer. He was told that his symptoms were a result of, I hope I'm saying this right, polycythemia vera, a type of blood cancer which grows very slowly. And then he was also told that he had a health condition called hemochromatosis, where iron builds up in the body. And then after 7 years, he was attending a routine appointment where a nurse flagged his case. And then they went through and did some more tests and found out that he didn't have any of the conditions at all. That's what I'm saying. Like, I guarantee you that ChatGPT had something to do with this. Because some of these students, when they want to go out and party and do their own thing, and they're like, "Oh man, I'm behind on my work. Let me just plug this shit into ChatGPT, not learn it on my own, and just fucking wing it for the rest of the semester." There's a percentage that are doing that. And those are the people that are going to be taking care of us when we get older, and taking care of people right now as they're getting older. And this is going to be a scary fucking world in 40 years. And that's not long. 40 years, I'll be 80, Lord willing. So I hope these people that are wanting to be doctors and aspiring to help others actually go and learn some shit and not use the AI that has taken over every fucking thing, everything. It's terrifying. It really is. Terrifying. So, yeah. So this guy, he got an apology from the hospital. It doesn't say that he is suing the shit out of these places. It didn't say anything about that, but I hope he does. He needs to. This guy unnecessarily stressed himself out for 7 years thinking he was fucking dying. And the stress, can kill you also. So he's just stressing all fucking day about some shit that isn't even happening, creating other problems for himself unknowingly. He needs to get some money back because he ain't going to get the time back. So I hope this guy gets a little just compensation. All right, here is a story that is just absolutely fucking bonkers. This woman was paralyzed after her husband accidentally dropped her while carrying her down a set of stairs, and then he tripped and fell on top of her. She spent 8.5 months in the hospital, and she suffered over 500 seizures during that time. And now they're trying to get money together to reinvent their whole fucking house to accommodate her situation. And this is crazy. This is just wild. And the thing is, she didn't become paralyzed immediately. She had a seizure immediately after it happened. Then she was in and out of the hospital. And then it said that she was just having vicious headaches. And then during one of the headaches, she blacked out. And then she was paralyzed. And folks, I know this sounds crazy. It is. But this happened, I think it said May of last year, of 2025. And look, folks, life is a wild journey, and you got to understand any fucking thing can happen from day to day. You don't know what is going to happen in the next 1 minute, 30 seconds, hour, 24 hours, 48 hours, week, month, year. You have no fucking clue. You are just here for the ride. So whenever I say buckle in, I fucking mean buckle in, because you don't know what the shit is going on. And if you think you do, something could switch up at any fucking second. So be grateful for what you have. And honestly, what you don't have. And I wish this lady all the best, and to her and her husband. And she said, look, she doesn't blame her husband or hate him or anything like that. At the time, he was helping her down the steps. And this is after they said that he was dealing with his mother, who had passed away, and he was just taking care of her before she did. And she said he was just tired, and he was just trying to fucking help her, and it didn't work out. And that's love right there. Because someone would try and sue there would be a woman out there that would sue the husband. So I wish these people nothing but the best. I know it's a shitty situation, but I hope whatever they need works out and they get it. And this is going to be the last article. And like I just said, anything can happen from second to second. And this happened in May 2026 on the 24th. An 11-year-old was visiting Texas, a beach in Texas, with his youth football team, and a large wave hit the child, and he got lost at sea. They searched for 24 hours to look for his body, and they did not find the body. And then 2 days later, the police chief out in Texas went on and said, hey, look, we found the boy's body. And how they found it was a guy was fishing 3 miles from where the incident occurred, and he said he felt something bump against his leg. My God. I couldn't even imagine. I would never go in the water again. I'd never go fishing. Oh, my goodness. But the child's body bumped into the fisherman, and that's how they found the child. Just someone happened to be there at that time. I'm telling you, life is crazy. You got to cherish every damn second that you get. None of this is promised. We don't know what happens when this is all over. And damn it, unfortunately, it's going to be all over for all of us at some point. So you better fucking have a good time while you're here and not be a complete piece of shit. I say it at the end of every episode. Don't be a piece of shit. You don't know what's going to happen throughout the day. Wild. It's wild that I find these articles. I find good, I find bad, but this is real life. This is the shit that goes on in life. So I hope I'm glad the family has closure, and I hope, everything works out for them and they can kind of get what they need and want. So, yeah. All right. I think that's going to be it for today. So I'm going to go ahead and cue myself for the music. So, Chuck, please go ahead and hit the music. As always, thank you for joining me on every single episode that you take time to listen to. I appreciate you for that. And just being here and supporting me. I thank you. And I don't want you to forget, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube at Casually Uncomfortable. I'm on Twitter at Casually Unchuck. So please, let your friends know. Every Monday, every Wednesday, wherever you podcast, the old Chuck Meister will be there. So you have a wonderful weekend. Be safe. Don't get too crazy. And as always, don't be a piece of shit.